Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to the Tens. And a very special introduction is probably needed in store, ladies and gentlemen, because we are now 6 songs in, and now we finally get to the titular Book of Souls. Now, I want to just sort of, because I don't really want to hang about with this, because now that I've started to binge listen to Iron Maiden since I've started coming back to this, doing videos of this sort, I can't get enough. And I hope I continue not getting enough, because that means there'll be even more to do. So it's a good job Iron Maiden have over 40 years of discography, so thank you, by the way, for that. Stretching over 4 decades. Technically 5 when you think about it, but let's go, shall we? The Book of Souls. Let's do it. Oh, okay. Oh, that is so sweet. Oh my god.
Sacrifices buried with kings, accompany them on a journey with the wind, to an afterlife that's rich with food of all the gods, and to face the demons out there in the world hides. For sentient descent to seek out all the truth. A fight to earth is a given from its birth, to rise from ashes of the dead, out of the fire and sent to fulfill man's desire. The power being not a death, he ruled there, the sky and earth and the fires too. To heaven reptiles symbolize his reign, universes of the underworld, about the full of all the wealth and riches, can never last for an eternity. After living in a golden paradise, the ultimate sacrifice. Prophecy of skydance, and sun and moon. Passing always will come true soon. Falling on ages, flawless of kings. Passage from the truth, the Book of Souls. The rulers of planets and stars, the power of the kings, the traders and the wars, planetary cycles on the phases of the moon. Is Make a lesbian history novel. Records kept and the passing of laws. Secret kept to the book of lies when a civilization dies. Prophecy and stardust. The sun and moon. Passing over waves. Welcome true soon. Falling ages. Forest of caves. The lost souls. Destruction begins.
Oh, I just wanted to hear that strum again. Okay, you know what? This song is going. This album is going to give me an absolute. I'm gonna spoil this right now, ladies and gentlemen. Is that I am actually for a very long time I've always wanted to do every single Iron Maiden song from worst to best. And while I have a very general idea about sort of like what the top 50 are going to be, I feel like this album is going to give me the hardest task of them all, because I legitimately have no idea where to put like any of these, because I think the absolute worst aspect of this album is that maybe some of the songs sound very, very similar to things that have come before, which is that's not really a fair criticism, because that's more just because that's sort of just how Iron Maiden have played, and it's just more through knowing their music really, really well has helped sort of like astound a sort of a fundamental idea about things to look for. But with that being said, I think it also comes down to the fact that, well, if that's the worst aspect about this album so far, here's the best aspect of this album thus far. It is astoundingly varied in its creativity, and the fact that we've seen Iron Maiden go through several different sort of like mythologies to cultivate their ideas for music. From the Egyptians to pirates to medieval England to science fiction to ancient Greece. Now we travel all the way to the ancient Mayans, presumably Machu Picchu itself, all the way deep in South America. And now one thing I will state for the record right now, ladies and gentlemen, is that despite this being called the Book of Souls, there is no such thing as the Book of Souls in Mayanistic mythology. The Mayans were very, very big on the idea of souls. There's a lot of talk about like soul worshipping and a lot about possibly where souls go to. But the Book of Souls is not really a thing that exists. It's more Iron Maiden's sort of stamp, if you will. And it's presumably it's meant to be Iron Maiden's attempt at doing sort of like almost like a Magna Carta or a Doomsday Book, a way to document the living and those who have ascended beyond them. That's where they talk so much about war, and they talk a lot about maybe just the outlook of their own civilization, which leads me to a very curious little aspect, is that they talk about, they say Mayan slaves, underworld caves, defeat of dark lords. But to be honest, if it wasn't for like sort of the influences, one, based on the album cover, also through very specific references to the ancient Mayans, you could almost be forgiven in thinking that actually Iron Maiden they were doing their own thing. They were trying to like cultivate and create an entire mythology of their own, which, to be fair, if Iron Maiden would ever do something like that, I think it would nigh on be one of the most badass things they could ever do. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. An entire mythology filled with monsters, demons, heroes, legends, noble warriors, all in the image and the mental machinations of Steve Harris. Imagine how... Just imagine how badass that would be. I mean, think about how it sounds, because, to be fair, the Book of Souls is not really that far off from the sort of things that Iron Maiden would do, because it was sort of the same ideas that I had about when I first listened to Power Slave. And to be fair, Power Slave, the song specifically, is the biggest comparison I could sort of make to something like this. In the absolute best way possible. It talks very highly about the rule and about what happens afterwards. Once you are dead, do you ascend to a higher plane? What happens? Are you able to overlook your forest of kings, and are you able to cement your name in history? Are you going to be on the front cover of the Book of Souls? Who knows, ladies and gentlemen? And one thing I am absolutely just overwhelmed with is the fact that it's a glorious sound. It's fantastic. From start to finish, it's really smooth, and it leads you in. It's a meal that is beautiful from start to finish, because it doesn't throw you in. It just sort of it grinds you very, very softly and gets straight to the point. And that is it. I don't, and if my biggest comparison is that it sounds familiar, then so be it. Because guess what? Good music is still good music, and that's the whole point, isn't it? So with all that being said and done, I hope all of you guys enjoyed the Book of Souls by Iron Maiden, and we are now at the halfway stage of this album, ladies and gentlemen. We are now on the back foot, and I don't know what's coming next. I really don't. But I also know that I'm going to have a very fun time figuring out. Just, I don't know how you can... This album is excellent so far, and I don't even feel like we've even heard the best parts yet. So, take care, and fingers crossed.